AI will increasingly replace repetitive jobs, not just for blue-collar work, but a lot of white-collar work.
What sort of jobs would be lost to AI?
Basically, chauffeurs, truck drivers, anyone who does driving for a living, their jobs will be disrupted more in the 15 to 20-year time frame. And many jobs that seem a little bit complex, chef, waiter, a lot of things will become automated. We'll have automated stores, automated restaurants, and altogether in 15 years, that's going to displace about 40% of jobs in the world.
40% of jobs in the world will be displaced by technology?
I would say displaceable.
Badges, they taking our vests and making us hand over our vests, bro. I ain't gonna lie, this shit is crazy, man. This shit is crazy, man. Like, we really just getting walked out right now, bro. Like, I didn't think that the
18,000 people got laid off from Amazon today. I definitely get what you're feeling right now. And I just want you to remember that it wasn't about you. It was a strictly business decision. We're human and we let insecurities get the best of us. And our thoughts immediately go to, what could we have done differently? Is there something that I did? I thought I was like on the right track. It was strictly a business decision, and you have to remember that. Don't let anyone make you think that it was a personal decision on you. So much of our worth and success has always been tied to our career and the name of our employer. And I think that's why I had such a hard time with these layoffs, because I have always been very career driven. But we need to remind ourselves that we are more than our career, our employer, our job. That's not the most unique or exciting thing about us. The great thing is that there's a lot of resources out there to help those being impacted by the layoff. Since so many tech layoffs are happening right now, a lot of people are rallying around those impacted. They're putting together spreadsheets with those companies that are still hiring. LinkedIn is a great tool for connections and networking and help getting the word out there of the roles that you're applying for, and just broadening your network as well. I'm not going to speculate what your severance package is or what your financial situation is. If you have the means to take the time and be more thoughtful and intentional of your next move, do it. If you don't, like me, and you have to get right into finding a job, then I am here in solidarity with you. And I do firmly believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Drop in my comments if you need help or if you need to commiserate together. But just know that you're more than your job and employer.
I unexpectedly lost my job last week. I was pretty devastated, and here's how some of my people made a huge impact in the first 24 hours. My roommate works a crazy job, but she decided to work remotely so she could be there for me. And being there for me caused her to work pretty late that night. She never complained once. I had canceled plans with two of my best friends because I didn't want to be mopey, and I told them why. And they showed up to my house after work with flowers. I mean, look at these. They're so pretty. Flowers and my favorite treats, and they just hung out and let me talk about it and took my mind off it too. My dad and his fiance, Steph, had me over, and they cooked a well-rounded meal for me and my boyfriend and let me just pet the dog and hang out, take my mind off things. 3 of my people Venmo'd me the amount that the Uber cost for me to get to work, because I paid $15 to take an Uber to work that day because it was hailing and disgusting, only to then lose my job and go right home. So they all sent me that amount plus enough for a treat. My 3 siblings, so my twin, my 2 younger siblings, had me on what seemed like a rotating schedule, just continuing to check in and make sure I'm okay. My childhood best friend let me just cry on the phone for hours, basically. So many other people have shown up for me since then, and those people have continued to in many ways, but that was the first 24.
We've been warning you guys for years, and now it's here. AI is here. And AI, I told you guys years ago that AI was going to come in like a whirlwind and start taking jobs. there's a lot of things that these machines are going to do that they don't need human beings no more. I told you guys before, this is why they don't put family shows on anymore. They're not promoting marriage. They're not promoting 30-year mortgages on homes. It's a whole new world. The world is changing. And in the industrial age where you needed humans to work in factories and bodies, you got machines now. So you don't need humans, right? This thing is getting real serious, man. Artificial intelligence could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and cause U.S. unemployment to spike as high as 20%, according to the chief executive of a top AI company. Anthropic CEO Dario Amo, whose firm built the Claude AI chatbot, warned that executives and politicians should stop sugarcoating the mass layoffs that could occur in fields like tech, finance, and law, and be honest with workers about the extent of the threat. And it's going to go deeper than that because they're going to have machines there to do the labor work as well, right? The same way they needed humans to do labor work in the past, they got machines to do all the labor work, the cleaning, the building. They got to drive the trucks. They got all that. Most of them are unaware that this is about to happen. In a Wednesday interview, it sounds crazy, but people just don't believe it. Check out, there's more people complaining. Check this out.
I lost my job yesterday. It was a 6-figure software engineer job. One of those jobs you're supposed to hold on to and never let go. You know, it's what you go to college for. But it didn't work out, I suppose. But I'm not sad. I'm actually excited. I'm taking it as a sign. It's a sign that I need to push myself and take my own risk. And I'm actually thinking of becoming a software freelance developer. And I wanted to make this page. If you wanted to support me in any way, hit a follow. I'm going to be posting my journey. And so if you want to be informed on what it takes to be a unemployed software engineer that's trying to make it as a freelance web developer, hit a follow.
So it's been about an hour since I found out that I was laid off from Meta. I am part of the 11,000 employees that were laid off. I had a feeling, just because I'm on the recruiting, or was on the recruiting team, and that's where the biggest hits were taken. Yesterday I was like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. And today when I read the email, I got so emotional. And I know that's normal. I think it's just like, this was literally like my dream job. And I was so proud of myself when I got it. And I'm still very proud of myself. It just... I guess it's just crazy because I never thought that I could work. I've worked for Microsoft and I've worked for Meta. So like, you know, I think I'm okay when it comes to my resume. It's just a really bad time in the economy and I get that. But I just never thought that I could work for a company like this. So I hate that my dream job is no job, but this was in my mind that I made it moment, you know? And so I know that the universe has wonderful things in store for me, and I've survived 100% of life up to this point. But I'm just feeling all of the feelings today. So if anyone has leads for a technical recruiter, I am really good at my job. Yeah, if you're going through this right now, I'm in the same boat as you, so sending lots of love and light, and we'll get through this. We will get through this. That's life right now.
Hey, Amazon. Let's talk about what I just heard, which was the replacement of 750,000 employees with the humanoid robot. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of families. It's a lot of money. I can't imagine what the cost is to replace 750,000 humans and what the cost is per robot, 750,000 robots. You know, what's the life expectancy of one robot? I don't know, is it 100 years? Can you expect a less costly employee? Yeah, I think you can when you do the math. And I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scholar. I don't have, degrees from colleges, any college. I'm a tech guy, certifications, but what exactly is the plan? Because you could literally train the employees that you fired to do different jobs, or, and I don't have all the details, but let's look at that. 750,000 families have lost their income because you laid them off. Is this a temporary layoff? Is it a permanent layoff? Who knows? Only you know. But look, man, I'm glad you're enjoying the lavish luxuries of your life. You've benefited from our capitalist mentality, which I don't disagree with, And being able to capitalize on certain situations monetarily. Take hotels, for example. When there is a convention in town,
The job market is changing faster than ever. According to a study by the World Economic Forum, nearly a quarter of all current professions will change in the next 5 years due to AI.
Half of entry-level white-collar jobs disappearing and 10 to 20% unemployment in the next 1 to 5 years.
The tech sector is already being hit, but this will spread to many other sectors of the labor economy.
Tech has already been hit, and other industries are just months away from massive cuts.
Even the CEOs of the largest AI companies in the United States are warning about the potential consequences.
CEO of an artificial intelligence company warns that AI is about to wipe out millions of jobs in the next few years, even calling it a bloodbath.
The effects of this labor revolution could bring significant consequences, potentially leading to unemployment rates never seen before.
All right, so I know y'all been waiting for this update, but this badge no longer works. Amazon officially let your girl go. Oh, all that hard work, and I did not get converted. I didn't get nothing, just a text message saying, bitch, you're fired. Okay, not fired, laid off, but it's all the same, jobless. So I'm gonna go live at 9:30 to discuss the process of how I got laid off, what it took, and what they sent me, and how's it's going, and how I'm gonna maintain life in school without having a job. And it's most definitely not a funny situation, but it's like, I started this countdown in hopes that I was gonna be one of those employees who stay, but they let everybody go. Max text messages like, boop, 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 you're fired. Like, damn. It's like, why through text? Like, send me an email. No, do that shit in person. We were in person every day. You could have let me know face to face. And the crazy part is I put in a transfer, like they said. And the transfer meant absolutely nothing. Like, nothing. Never heard back from them. They just logged me out my app like, bitch, you never existed. Like, oh, shit, I never existed.
The fact that Amazon has fired me over something that I have literally no control over is beyond me. Beyond me. As most of you know, I was living in my car for 3 months just so that I could go to this job. That was an hour and a half away from where my child was living at the time. Then my child's father passed away in December, and I had no choice but to just come back home, which is in Maryland instead of Florida, and try to rebuild my life again because I was homeless, living in my car for 3 months. After it took me 6 months to find this job, finally got it. Only worked it for 2 months before his father passed away. Then that gave me a transfer so that I could come back home. I had 2 weeks to receive my offer letter. I did not receive my offer letter within that time. It took a little bit longer than that, and my time went into -80. But they know my situation. They know everything that I just said. They know all of this, and they don't care. Just because I did not get the offer letter within the 2 weeks of time. And that is because the person that was working on my case had his own personal issues and was in the hospital. So it prolonged me getting my offer letter, which I've explained to HR, but they don't care. They don't care. All of this, and they don't care. The amount of time that it took me to get a job just for it to be snatched away over something I have no control over is beyond me. And they know all of this and they don't care. That is beyond me. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I don't know how I'm going to take care of my bills, my son, myself. Like, I've literally been applying for jobs for weeks now, just so I can have a backup. Haven't heard anything back. So at this point, like, Amazon, y'all really screwed me over, for real. Thank you.
Y'all, in this last round of layoffs, Meta pulled a fast one, and I want y'all to understand what they're doing. So as y'all know, Meta laid off a bunch of people citing low performance for the layoffs, okay? A bunch of folks called up to Cage Bird looking for support, and what they were telling us is that they have not had a performance review in the past year. Now, why is that important? If you're going to argue that you were wrongfully terminated based on something other than performance, so basically saying Meta said that I'm a low performer, however, I'm not a low performer, and I was actually laid off because of whatever other reason, you have to be able to prove that you were in fact not a low performer. And the way to do that is through your performance review. But clearly Meta planned this layoff and did not conduct a performance review the year prior. That means it's harder to prove that you are not a low performer, because now for the past year, everything is subjective because there's no performance review. So it's literally on a case-by-case basis, forcing you to go to court. So let's play this out, okay? I got laid off. Okay, I got laid off in January. They told me it was because I was a low performer. I actually wasn't a low performer. My last performance review told me I was a exceeds expectation. I go to my company and say, hey, this is actually discrimination. I'm not a low performer because 6 months ago I was exceeds expectations, okay? 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you some money and you're going to go on about your business because they don't want to take that to court because just 6 months ago, you were a high performer, okay? Now, this is what happened with Meta, okay? I got laid off. I go to Meta and say, hey, I actually wasn't a low performer. They didn't do performance reviews. So they're going to say, prove it. The only performance review you have is the one from 2 years ago. So there's a year of gray area that now you have to prove that you're a low performer. This is why I be telling y'all to keep the receipts, okay? This is what y'all need to start doing, because the way these tech companies work is if one does something and it works, they all going to do it, okay? And that means that you have to start on your own accord. If your company decides to randomly not do performance reviews, you need to be emailing your manager regularly and consistently and asking for performance feedback in writing. And then whatever they say, you need to keep the receipts of that in the work receipts app. That's what you need to do. Because they're going to try to start getting rid of performance reviews so that they can continue laying people off and calling it a low performance layoff to skate and donate around the law. Like that's where we are as a union, as a nation. And so you have to protect yourself. Keep the receipts, baby.
I'll say this in closing, man, this thing is getting crazy. I don't know what the remedy for this is going to be. I don't have all the answers, but what I do know is that we were talking about this when dealing with the 2030 agenda and what was coming down the pike. And all the things, let me just say this, right? They took all the family shows off TV. They took away all the love music. They don't want you to be married. They don't want you to be in relationships. They dismantling the nuclear family and just being kind to each other. The actually humane societies that we have, all of those things are being decimated right in front of your face because they don't need you anymore, right? They're replacing you with machines. They're replacing you with the modern technology that can go and do the job faster and more efficient than what you can do it. This is what they're doing. So they have to get rid of the old world to bring in the new world. And we've been telling you guys this for years, and nobody was listening. It was going on deaf ears. So now we're going into the age of Demolition Man, Simon Phoenix. I told you guys, right? We're going to the age of microchips, machines, AI, all kinds of things. We're creating this AI to go do the work where, I ain't going to get into that. I'll get into that in another video. But right now, you have mass layoffs all across the country. People are very disgruntled. They're very upset with these corporations, and they're coming online voicing their opinions. But I'm gonna cut this video short here, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. There's more that's come out. We'll talk more about it. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.